There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, do me a favor, don't treat me.
A father convicted of keeping his 13-year-old son in a dog cage. Letting him starve, then burying his body behind the family mobile home, claims he's the only person who ever loved his child. Well, in this family, I sure would not want to know what hate is then. Hello, my name is Holly. Welcome to the Murder She Shed, the place we honor the dead right from my she shed. Although I am not in my she shed today, decided to sit in here with Simon and chill. This is Simon, by the way. A little shadow right beside me. Can't see him very good, but this is him. If you would like to join me and Simon weekly, usually 2 or 3 times weekly actually, then hit that subscribe button for rarely discussed true crime and breaking cases right in my she shed, normally, just not today. Since this is a child case, viewer discretion is advised, although this is a particular rough case to listen to. I have spoke about a lot of child cases on my channel, but I would say this case was top 5 of the worst cases I have done. Unfortunately, today, this is a true crime story of a real murder shed. Christian Choate was one of 10 children living in a single-wide mobile home in Gary, Indiana, with his father, Riley Choate, and his stepmother, Kimberly KUBINA. Gary, Indiana is considered one of the most abandoned places in the world. It looks haunted with its almost 13,000 abandoned buildings. That's the first thing that came up about Gary, so I'm sorry, people. I'm not making fun of your town. I'm just reading what Google says. If this is not true, you can blame Google. Also, Gary is considered one of the most dangerous cities to visit in America because of its high crime rate, including homicides. Unfortunately for Christian, in 2009, he would be added to the homicide statistics. In 2004, Christian's mother, Amy Eriks Estrada, lost custody of him and his sister Christina after her live-in boyfriend was accused of molesting them. Christian told authorities that his mother had also touched him inappropriately. Christian and Christina then moved in with their father, Riley, and stepmother, Kimberly, and several cousins and step-siblings, despite the fact that in August of that year, Riley had also been accused of abusing his son. Investigators could not prove the allegations, but DCS officials did determine that Riley had physically abused Kimberly's nieces who were living with them at the time. The report cited inappropriate discipline and bruising on the 2 girls. As a result of this, the nieces were removed from the home and placed in foster care for several months. But, as usual, they were then returned to the custody of Riley and Kimberly, and now added to the group was Christian and Christina. So that's what they needed, was more children after already the ones they had. So sadly, you can see these children's lives did not get any better from one home to another. It just blows my mind on what DCS could have been thinking. I mean, if they were to the girls, how did they think adding more children to that single-wide mobile home was going to make things better? 12 people were now crammed into that small trailer. It seems in a lot of child cases we do discuss, usually one child is picked out for most of the cases. And unfortunately, in this story, it was Christian. To start with, they never even bothered to enroll Christian into school, and his father started giving him daily beatings. So Kimberly, she's like, why not? She started joining in with her husband in the beatings. Christian would be slapped, punched, kicked, and after they bought a 3-foot-high dog cage for $15 from a neighbor, they began locking him in that cage. Christian would be locked in the cage naked and not be let out to even go to the bathroom. So the cage was filled with urine and excrement. Christian slept in his cage, placed exactly beside his father's computer work desk. But really, Riley didn't work. He played video games and just sat by the stench like it didn't even bother him. If Christian moved around too much, he would berate him or just beat him. The cage had 7 locks on it, and the keys were kept in Riley's desk. 7 locks on this one dog cage. Keep this 13-year-old boy inside that cage. This has to be one of the saddest cases ever. Sometimes Christian would wipe his feces on the wall or put it in a dryer vent to try to get it out of his cage. One punishment inflicted upon Christian was chaining his hands and feet to an upright bed frame. While chained to the bed frame, he would be punched, kicked, and beaten with a metal pole. Kimberly actually recorded one of these incidents on her phone. Riley and Kimberly would threaten the other children if they attempted to help Christian. They'd get beat too. They even forced Christina to abuse her brother, afraid of the consequences if she disobeyed. Christina struck and kicked her brother on numerous occasions. She also admitted that she choked her brother until he actually turned blue and smacked him if he disobeyed her. At times, his hands would be tied to the top of the cage, and on one such occasion, Kimberly spray painted his chained hands black as an additional punishment. The only time Christian was allowed out of the cage was to clean the house like a slave. Riley and Kimberly would tell their other children he slept in a cage because he was a dog. They would also stuff socks in his mouth and cover it with duct tape so he couldn't push the sock out. Christina said that when their grandmother came over and had to go to the bathroom, they were told that they had to get a towel and cover up Christian's cage with it, and he had to be quiet or he would get beat. Riley and Kimberly fed Christian ramen noodles for breakfast and lunch. Dinner, they just fed him a few scraps off the table, just like you would a dog. I don't even feed you like that, do I? Don't even do that to you, but yet this young boy was treated worse than my dogs are treated. I don't even lock my dog in a dog cage. He was hungry and would often attempt to steal food when he was out of his cage while cleaning their trailer. If he got caught stealing, though, he was beaten. If Riley and Kimberly got in a fight with each other, they would just take it out on Christian by beating him. In an attempt to combat the bruising and swelling on Christian's body from the beatings, Kimberly instructed Christina to give Christian an ice-cold water bath, which prompted his screams. The only thing Christian was ever given inside that cage was a paper and a pencil. He wrote many heartbreaking notes on this paper. He wondered why everyone hated him so much, why he did not get to eat. He was also hungry, he would say on the paper, and he didn't understand why his family didn't love him. This is heartbreaking, y'all. Heartbreaking. He wondered what he could do to make them love him. He didn't understand why he wasn't loved. He scratched on the paper, "I want to die." Christian's writings detail a very sad, depressed child who often wondered when anyone, was going to come check on him and just give him food or liquid. Christian's pediatrician, who treated him for depression, anxiety, and ADD, was one person who actually knew about Christian's illness. But guess what? Christian told her he was locked up in his house at night a year before his death, but she never told anyone about what he told her. I don't know, but I was taught in nursing school that you had to report this stuff. And imagine not reporting. A child tells you they're locked up in a dog cage. Why would you not report that? That's just something a kid just can't think up. Like, that's the truth. Something like that is way too crazy to make up. Although DCFS visited the home dozens of times over the years, they claimed they never saw signs of abuse. On one occasion, Kimberly was cited for medical neglect, but workers did not find any other evidence of abuse. As the beatings escalated and the food was denied more frequently, Christian was forced to wear a diaper, and he only wore size 6 clothing at the time when they put clothing on it. Christian was so emaciated that the tiny diaper fit him. Inside that cage, his feet would often turn purple. His bones had grown so brittle, he could hardly walk in the days leading up to his death. Christian struggled to chew or swallow cereal in the days leading up to his death. Riley was enraged that he wouldn't eat, and this would escalate the beatings. On April 4th, 2008, Riley punched him in the head several times. On April 5th, 2009, when Kimberly and Christina discovered him dead, they attempted CPR using an air mattress pump. Yes, I really said an air mattress pump. That disturbed me almost as bad as everything else. Like, you killed this child and you can't even give him mouth to mouth. Kimberly called Riley at work, and Riley told her just to take care of it until he got home. Christian's body was placed in a plastic bag and then put in a plastic tote by Kimberly and Christina and taken to the shed behind their trailer. When Riley came home, he beat Christina, perhaps blaming her for Christian's death. He grabbed her by the hair, slammed her face against the wall, and punched her repeatedly. Riley said to Kimberly when he returned from work, "Nobody's going to miss him anyhow. We'll bust him and bury him." Unfortunately, he was right. No one had inquired about his disappearance for 2 years. They told the neighbors that he had run away when they asked, but they never reported him. Unfortunately, the system designed to protect children like Christian, CHOATE'S, was able to do so. A couple of days after his death, Riley ripped out the plywood in the shed, put a cross and Bible on top of Christian in the garbage bag, and then dug a hole inside the shed. He then filled the hole with lime and quick dry cement before filling it back in. When Christina admitted to having nightmares about her brother, Kimberly told her not to worry. That is why they put the cross on top of him, so he couldn't get out of the grave. 2 years later, when Christina was able to get out of her father's home, she told authorities where Christian's body could be found and all the details of the abuse. Christian's autopsy revealed that he died from blunt force trauma to his body, a skull fracture, and internal bleeding. Riley and Kimberly said they started locking him in that cage after Christian tried to molest his younger stepbrother. That was never proven to be true. Riley, who was sentenced to 80 years in prison, claims that his fellow inmates believe he is a monster. He said, "I have reoccurring nightmares. In my sleep, I can see him, and I can see his face. When I see him in that cage, I think to myself, man, it's as if he's reaching up to say, help." Riley is hoping Christian will forgive him, but I'm hoping that Christian is really haunting that monster because that cross didn't hold him down. Riley deserves to be tortured the rest of his remaining days. Kimberly KUBINA was sentenced to 25 to 35 years in prison for child neglect, which she should have got more. She was just as evil as he was in my book. They both need to take blame for that. Just awful. Rest in peace, Christian. Now you have the love you should have received on earth. If you're still with me, you made it to the end of this brutal, sad case. I have to say this one was a tough one to research. It just almost seems unbelievable the cruel things that people come up with in order to do their children. Child cases are always horrible, but this one is so bad it leaves you speechless. The sad thing is his life was so bad with his father that he wanted to go back to his mother who had and the stepdad. That's how bad it was with his father, that he felt safer with his mother. And that is sad. So sad. As usual, be kind to those around you because you never know what they've been through. We love y'all and we hope y'all have an amazing week. Be blessed out there and be a blessing to others. And we love you. Say bye. Although I'm in my house today. But this is the place we beat Simon. Claims he's the only person then burying his body behind the family mobile home. Claims he's the only person who ever keeping his 13-year-old son. Are you licking your balls? Better not be licking your balls. Be nice. Just be nice for a minute. I love you too, but enough's enough of this loving stuff, don't you think? And several cousins and step siblings. Got dog hair all around. It's like stuck. Thank you for that. It's something you have to report as a nurse, so I'm sure it's been that. Well, I got dog drool on my shirt, or snot, dog snot. That crap I got on my shirt. Nice. How long I had dog weird stuff on my shirt? Such a weirdo. Got boogers on me. Christian's pediatrician. You're really gonna be nice, aren't you? You gonna be nice? Gonna be nice? Gonna be nice? Is that my answer? I'm gonna put you out so I can finish this because you're not being nice at all. At all, booty. At all. Aw, how do I always do that? Always squish the top of my lipstick. Because I forget to roll it in before I smash the lid on. Do y'all do that? Like they should really do something about that. I'm sure I'm not the only woman that screws up the whole top of their lipstick by not rolling it down. I'm not the only one that could be doing that. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm the only freak out there. That's a possibility. And Max is down here. I don't know if you can see him, but he's over here. Max, come here and say bye to. Say bye, Max. Yeah, big old Max head. Okay,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?